Good morning, and good morning. I tell you, I'm running up and down the stairs. I wasn't trying to get exercise this morning. It's just I left something upstairs that I need to come downstairs. So I finally got that together. But good morning, and good morning. Hope you all are doing wonderful. Hope you had a wonderful July 4th. I did. I rested. I had run around so much last week and the week prior that I just needed a rest. So I have some things I have to get to today. Tomorrow will be my first meeting as president of my Rotary Club, which is Suburban West Rotary Club. If you'd like to come visit, certainly, and you're in the area, let me know. You can hit me up at either Dr. Winborn, hey Debbie, Dr. Winborn at gmail.com, or you can text me to 850-206-4814. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you, Debbie? I know you're doing good. I just know you probably had a wonderful weekend. It just seems like the weekend just ends so quickly, and we're back into the routine of the week, and the weekend comes and it's gone just like that. But anyway, I didn't look up a poem today to talk about onerous, but onerous is my word of choice. And onerous is like, it talks about having tasks to do and responsibility. And, as a parent, as a head of a large group, a leadership role, it really talks about onerous and what is onerous. It says it's just basically having responsibility and involving an amount of effort and difficulty that may, it says sometimes be oppressingly or burdensome. And not that I feel that this is burdensome. I don't. It's just I'm feeling like this is my first time ever doing this kind of thing, but I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good at it. I just believe that I am a person who believes in God, and I feel that He would never give me anything that I cannot do. But I was just thinking of the magnitude of it this morning and thinking, wow, okay, can I do this? But good morning to Debbie. I see you. I see you, Joan. I see you, Eurydice. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. It is a great word, Eurydice. Onerous is just something that probably we don't even think much about, but we deal with it on a regular basis anytime we have great responsibility or we have great concern about how well we're going to do. And so, I kept thinking about, well, you know what? I want to do a great job, not just a good job. I want to do a great job. And everyone that probably knows me knows that I work overtime, constantly working on several things at one time. Do I need the overhead light on too? Just give me a yes if I'm okay, or because I think I'm okay, but I kind of was trying to dull out the background there a little bit and still stay in the foreground with my white on today and my little medallion. I was trying to see what this medallion says. Anyway, I can't even read it. But anyway, it speaks of love. So anyway, I love you guys for doing what you do every day. So when we talk about this thing of being onerous and really looking at how much responsibility we've been given, it says that we really sometimes may feel that there's a crushingness to us, a crushingness that comes on us. I think anyone that's been faced with having deadlines or things that are just surmountable, and the things that we have to do, we just say, oh my goodness. It says it could be something that could be backbreaking or awkward to us because we realize we signed up for something that is large, or something that is requiring us to step up our game. And sometimes we feel that we are at the highest step of our game, only to realize we can still go higher. We just don't even know the extent to which we can spread and expand ourselves. But eventually, we do it. We do it. We just have, I think we all have that I'm going to say that walk of faith that we must all go through, that just says, you know what? Okay, I got this to do, that to do. And I think part of it has to do with planning, realizing that we have to plan stuff. We can't just fall into things and think it's going to work. There should be a plan. There should be a way forward. So I asked you this morning, have you ever been faced with this, an onerous kind of thing that just comes on you and you've stepped into it, or maybe it just stepped on you? Because sometimes we're just given stuff. When other people become, the people that say laissez-faire, I'm done with it, I'm not going to deal with that. So that falls on you. What do you do with that? I think that was the question I was asking this morning in my little statement. How do we just deal with, what we're dealing with? Like Debbie says, overwhelming. Okay, that's a great word. That's a great word, overwhelming, because sometimes we do get overwhelmed with what we've been given. We do. And we don't know what to do with it, even though we make the best at how we address things. My word for the O, I put down to own. You own it. A lot of times we sign up for stuff and they become our things. So it owned. It says usually it is the one where we speak of it being a possessive to emphasize that someone or something belongs or relates to the person or thing mentioned. Have it as its own, its possession, to have, or to have been in a situation where it was retained. All those things speak to what is owned. And I just think about the life that we live. Sometimes we don't even realize how much we have to pay attention to what is being given to us. Obsessed. That's a great word. Obsessed. Because sometimes after we own it, or even using Debbie's word, after we obtain it, we might have to become obsessed with it in order to get through it. Sometimes we realize that we are given things that there's an expectation to them, and the expectation may be larger than what we initially looked at it. We didn't think that it would be that large or that consuming or that involved. Even last night, actually I came home yesterday and I ate a little something and I went upstairs, went to sleep. And I woke up at 9:45 and I said, 9:45, that's just too late. That's just crazy that I would have slept that long, but obviously I needed it. Well, I stayed up to, I think, like 3:30 this morning. And the last thing I did before going to sleep again was I absolutely realized I had to write out my first P-mail to my Sub-West Rotary group. And I did it, after doing the small little learning curve that they had for me to do. And it went, and I felt pretty good about it. But I'm thinking they're probably saying 3:30 in the morning. She's obsessed already. No, I usually would not send anything 3:30 in the morning, but that's when I, looked at it and I could get it off. So I did. Appenda, what is that? Operative. Oh yes, we have to look at things being operative. How do they work? What's the rigors of stuff? What's the requirements of things? And sometimes we're not as operative as we like to be. We're just not. For me, I have to work up to what is the plan. The plan becomes, how onerous something stays on me or weighs me down. That's a good word for it too. Even though there's no W in onerous, it's Onerous. So there is no W, and it sounds like it is when you say it, but there isn't. So that's a matter of, obviously, pronunciation. But originally, I thought there was when I was just saying the word, and then when I looked it up, I said, "Oh, okay, no W, just Onerous." So when I move on in the word, opportunity is good too. That's a great word, because sometimes we get opportunities that require us to do things. We take the opportunity, but we don't realize all of the responsibility in the opportunity. Life life teaches us lessons every day about saying yes. And then my N for onerous is nuisance. How many times have we we become a nuisance to others because we're confused in what our task has become. And we go back and we say, well, what else do I need? And what else do I need? But we ask questions. Well, I remember even as a child, we always would ask questions if we didn't know something. So I always have liked questions. My mother used to always say, go sit down, Sandra. I was the child who asked the questions, even if she, even if I knew I probably shouldn't have. I felt it was necessary for me to ask a few questions, and I did. So nuisance is like a person or a thing or a circumstance causing inconvenience or annoyance. I didn't mean to be annoying, but I realized that sometimes we can be annoying. If we have to keep coming back, we have to keep going back for information, we can become annoying. Um, so nuisance is my word. Absolutely. I wrote navigate. Navigate is good. And to be numb to something, oh my goodness. Sometimes we are numb. We're numb that we even took something on. You say, hey, man, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. Good morning, Erica. Good morning. Good morning. How was your fourth? Hope it was well. So a nuisance, obviously, we don't want to be a nuisance, not on a daily basis. We may be it every once in a while. I don't mind the occasional annoyances, but constantly, because at some point in time, we have to learn. We have to learn what we don't know. And then that makes it where we have less need to go back to somebody else because we know something by then. My E in Onerous is emote. I know you probably said, why did she pick emote? Because sometimes we have to complain, we have to over dramatize how horrible it is. We're going to really get into it. We're going to let everybody know this was a horrible thing that I did, and why did I take this out? It is what it is. It is what it is. We will take on whatever comes our way. Neutrality. Yeah, sometimes we have to be in the middle of the road. How can we do that? Sometimes we just realize that we have to come down from our perch of knowing everything and up from letting people know that we know some things. We're just missing some things, and the effort that we put in stuff is really good. That's really good. It's a must. Yes, it is a must that we know something. Being effective, absolutely. I know I'm going back and forth because they're coming in kind of differently. Being effective is good. I think in order for us to be effective, we have to find out what we don't know and put it in our bank of knowledge that we can use going forward. But if we don't know it, then we can't fake that. If we don't know it, we don't know it. But for emote, I have to show a pretend emotion. It says to act out, to dramatize, exaggerate. Sometimes we have to exaggerate. And my mother said I was a good actress when I was little. So I can get it out there. And it says we must overplay it up, ham it up if we need to, just to be able to say that we're in a better situation where we know a little bit more. And we don't, and our onerous isn't taking us down to the point where we can't function. We want to be able to function, and that's really good too. Effort and experience, because once we become more experienced, then we can put out more effort. Because we know something, we know how to do something. Being eligible is really good because sometimes we need to be in a position where we're eligible to do what we're doing. Take it on, make it a part of our request of something that we've accomplished in a day. And then other times we'll find that one day isn't enough for us to know something. We may have to study for a while, to study. And I know we don't have an S, but study is certainly one way to say that we can R, which is in onerous. My R is for react. Exit. Exit stage left. I remember that when I was little. That was Snaggletooth. Don't you date me now, Debbie. But But anyway, when we react, it says we respond or behave in a particular way in response to something. So if we know something, we're able to respond positively. If we don't know something, then we're really fishing for answers or how to do something, instruction from someone else, or certainly asking questions. That's what we do. So it says when we react, we're going to decide how we're going to take something in terms of information, how we conduct ourselves, and how we act, and then how we behave based on either what we've been told, what we think we know, because sometimes we will go wrong because we don't know something. So I stop. I just stop and ask somebody, hey, look, I'm having trouble with this. I need some help. Can you help me out? In fact, I have a big learning curve now because, I'm learning everything that the previous president knew for our Rotary Club. The number of current members, what their needs are if they're not coming, what we might need to be doing for them, just so many things. So many things. It just says that we have to be on top of our game. So, there is a reality in this. That's a great word. There's a reality in us going through whatever we've been given in terms of our onerous. There's a reality that it may be difficult. It may have a lot of thorniness to it. It may have something that says we need to be better prepared than we were this week. We need to be better prepared. So that would be good. Also, it says that there's recognition for the fact that when we don't know something, we need to recognize that. We need to also recognize if we know sources or resources of people or materials that can help us sharpen what we need to know more of. It makes sense to me that in order for us to be sharp, we have to sharpen ourselves to get there. And so generally, I try to reason with myself, which is what Debbie just put, as to what I need to know. What do I need to know in order to get through this particular thing that we're going through? So so for me, react is my word, but the reasoning, the recognition, and the reality makes sense to me. Drop the mic. Debbie, you're so funny. When I go on in my word onerous, my O in onerous, my second O, it talks about onset. When you take on something, onset, that's the beginning of something. That's when you get it. But does it mean that you get it and you don't do anything with it? You have to get it and work with it. If you don't understand it, that means you have to, once again, you have to sharpen yourself, organize. Oh, that's a great word. Organize. How do you organize your thoughts, the process, a plan, the outcome? To me, all of those things lead up to you being more efficient and more capable of doing what has become, onerous to you. How do you get there? You have to plan for it. It's not just going to go away. When we take on things, the things may take us away momentarily, but if we're really on our job, then that means we're going to learn what we don't know and add to the fact that we came with some sense. Now we have to add some sense on top of the sense that we have. And so we have to search for it. Oh, being open. Oh, that's really good. Ordeal. It is an ordeal. So being organized and really understanding the ordeal that we have to go through to become more efficient and more capable of doing the job that has become onerous, that we get that. We get that. And so being open that means we can take suggestions. We're willing to listen to other people who are more capable or in a position where they have information that we need. And I think being honest with people, just telling them, hey, look, I don't know it all. I know some things, but I'm missing some things. Most people are willing to help. I personally feel if you tell them what it is that you need, most people will try to help you. And if they can't, they'll tell you that too. So that's also a help, meaning don't keep going down the rabbit hole because the rabbit's not home. You understand that. You understand that. So when we have the onset of something, that means there could be a period of aggression, meaning that it came on you fast, that you may felt that there was an attack in how it came, and the arrival was not expected, and or it didn't show all of the what I would call the negative sides, or all the things that are going to weigh you down. To learn it, it may, in some instances, you may find it that you were offended because you got it. But I feel that everything that we're given, there's a period of grace for us to understand that if we were given it, then we need to go ahead and try to work with it. Omit is good. Omit and openness, and omitting certain things. Sometimes we have to just take out certain things to make it work better. You know, if you got five wheels, yeah, it would be sturdier, but does it look right? No. take the take the fifth wheel out. Something may need to be removed. So that's really good to omit something. When I move further on in my word of onerous, I look at used, you know, having already been used. Uh, Sometimes we as individuals have exposed ourselves of our capabilities, willingness, agility, all those kinds of things. And people want our help, and we may feel that there's a period of being used, and sometimes you have to say to them, am I the last resort, or am I the only resort? Because I'm busy. Many of us will not tell anybody that we're busy. We would just continue to try to incorporate it into our already, stuffed bag of things to do. So for me, so you got unity, um, universal, urgent. Oh, these are all wonderful words. Ultimate. When we think about our lives of working and servicing the needs of others, we really have to talk about unity, even unraveling. That's really a good word, unraveling, because sometimes we could be unraveled once we're going about trying to get to the ultimate point of completing whatever has been given to us. I always talk about completion. Completion is one of those words that it's happy if you completed it right. It's not a good thing if it completed it and you didn't complete with it, or it wasn't by the way you suggested, or went about getting to that area of completion. So completion is one of those words. I always love it, because if I completed it and I completed it right, I'm happy. But if it kind of fell up kind of funny and I felt used in the process, and then that becomes crazy to me. But to use is that, sometimes we feel that we've been casted off. It says that we don't feel like we're new, we've been used. We might be secondhand coming around because the real people who knew more aren't available, or they were worn out. Which sometimes that's what we end up being. We end up being worn out from what it is that we do, especially if we're giving and we're kind and we want to be there for other folks. We still fall short for ourselves, and we acknowledge that. And then that's when that feeling of being used comes in. But my last letter that I have today, and I think it's really, really an interesting word, because it's probably what we've all felt at some point in time when we've taken on something that is big, something that is larger than what we have done before or felt that we could do. And my word for my S is scary. Even though I've done a lot of things, when I take on something that's new to me, um, there is just a small period that's, and I guess that's the grace period of understanding. Um, there's a scariness to it. It's like, what did you do? You got enough stuff you're already doing. So scary, causing fright or alarm, you know. It usually doesn't stay long. It's not as if, I'm being, hurt or anything. It's just that I understand that I've taken on something that's going to require me to stretch out a little bit more, expand up a little higher, and do some things that I haven't done before, and that's okay. As if you have described my past 2 months, I believe it. I believe this describes a lot of people's months, weeks, years of fitting in where they need to fit in, and not realizing how it's all going to come together. But for me, scary, I took on, which is, it says it's alarming. I'm waking up and it says it could give you a chilly effect or a spookiness, creepiness. It's like, wow, what was I thinking? Or an eeriness. Um, but I was looking at Joan's word. Joan says satisfaction. I think satisfaction comes after you realize that, one, it was given to you; two, that you can do it; three, you have a plan on getting it done; four, you reach hard for satisfaction and completion by not only saying, to someone else, I don't know everything. So do you mind if I come to you for the things that I don't know, that I know because you've already experienced it? So being upfront also with other people takes some of the scariness out of it, takes out the fact that eventually you would become the experienced one in what you're doing, and you can pass it on, which is what I plan to do as Rotary president, is pass it on. Whatever I encounter that's good and worthy, and whatever I needed to learn along the way where I stumbled, then that's okay. I can teach that too, because then that becomes my fault line, but other people a fault line that they can certainly avoid. You know, I hope to certainly look at it as being one of just including everybody in the process, so that they know that, yes, I'm a leader, but I'm a leader with feelings and concerns and aspirations to make it work for the club and everyone. And I think that's how you look at even Eurydice as an author. Joan is a poet. Debbie's a poet too. She just hasn't put it down on paper. But you're looking at what it is that you've already accomplished, and you say, okay, I made it through. It seemed daunting. It seemed a daunting task for me to take on, to write a book, to write poetry, to speak before large gatherings of people, to run an organization. All of that works if you decide on how you're going to plan it out. So really and truthfully, when I go back, the word onerous, it really talks about what you own, the nuances of it, how you need to emote, what your reactions need to be when the onset is, when it's given to you, looking at the fact that you don't want to be used, but you want to use whatever you know to help others, and then realizing that you can knock down the scary, the more professional and proficient you become in whatever it is that you're doing. Look, I love you guys. I thank you so much. Sanity, I need that. I need sanity. I appreciate you so much for coming in here with me and just taking up time that really is significant to assisting me just continuing to be what I am, which is a vessel to help anybody that comes this way. And I always ask, are you stuck? Hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're doing you in every way you can. And when I say thank you, just like Debbie just told me, I mean that from the bottom, the sides, the in, the up, the down, below, and around of me. In my heart just says I'm grateful for what I've become to the world, and what I've become to my friends and those that don't know me, but they would like me if they knew me. They would like me. So anyway, I want y'all to have an onerous day without dealing with the weight of things, but planning it out where you own whatever it is you're involved in. You realize the nuances of it. If you got to speak up on it in terms of emote about it. You can over dramatize. It's too much for me. You can say that. You can react in such a way that is positive. You can look at what it is, that how it all began, which is the onset. You can use your ideas greatly. And lastly, you can brush off the scary. Okay? It says you're a blessing to all of us, especially me. Man, don't make me cry, because I've been on the borderline of it for 2 weeks now, just to see the outpouring of love. And for those of you who donated towards my effort of making this first time Rotary initiative, where I decided to give a party and not ask everybody. I couldn't afford to pay for everybody to come, but what I did is whatever money people donated, I'm donating it back to the Rotary, so that I can certainly be a part of our board and our membership that helps others, locally. I have an itch that I want to address, and I will present it to the board. I will present it to the board. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to see you on Friday. I will be back with another word to really help you say, are you stuck? And you can say, I am not stuck. I listened to Winnie this morning. Y'all have a great day. Be safe out there. The holiday's over. No more fireworks. Bye. Love you. Keep knocking it out all the part, girlfriend. I will, Debbie. I will.